Good evening. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for the 2023 Wright-Patt Credit Union annual meeting. I'm Holly Allen. Like you, I am a member here at Wright-Patt Credit Union, and I'm thrilled to act as your host for this year's annual meeting. And after the video presentation, stay tuned. I'll be sitting down live with Wright-Patt Credit Union's President and CEO, Tim Mislansky, to ask him some questions that you might have about the future of the credit union. If you have questions you'd like to submit, you can do that. Just use the window on the right side of your screen, enter your questions, and hit submit. If you don't see the Q&A box, just click the chat icon that's on the bottom right of your screen, enter your question, and send it our way. Please note that your question might be edited for clarity before we present it live here for the rest of the membership. And if we are unable to answer your question here live, don't worry, because the Wright-Patt team will follow up and get that question answered after the meeting this evening. It's important to us that we get those questions answered. And a recording of the full meeting will be available to you after this evening on Wright-Patt Credit Union's website. Just go to www.wpcu.coop/annual-meeting. You see the address there on your screen. Again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're really glad to have you here. We have so much to share with you about the future of Wright-Patt Credit Union. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to WPCU's President and CEO, Tim Mislansky.
Good evening. Welcome to Wright-Patt Credit Union's 2023 annual business meeting. I'm Tim Mislansky, President and CEO of Wright-Patt Credit Union. Thank you to all of you for making the time to be with us tonight. This year, my team and I are speaking to you from the Huffman Prairie Interpretive Center, part of the Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historical Park, just a short distance from where your credit union began over 90 years ago. It feels only fitting that we do so. As many of you know, Wright-Patt Credit Union traces its beginning back to a group of government workers at Wright Field, today's Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. They chipped in $1 a week to help out an ailing coworker and his struggling family. Wright-Patt Credit Union was built on the spirit of people helping people, and our fundamental mission has not changed in more than 90 years. We are here to help people through life. All Ohioans throughout Southwest and Central Ohio. To make this annual meeting official, our new Wright-Patt Credit Union Board Chair, Joseph Mucci, will start things off with the determination of a quorum.
Hello, I'm Joseph Mucci, Chairman of the Wright-Patt Credit Union Board of Directors. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to thank you all for being here, and thank you for being members of Wright-Patt Credit Union. It's only through your trust, support, and patronage that we've been able to accomplish all that we have this year. To constitute a legal annual meeting, our Code of Regulations requires that 0.5% of our total voting membership must be present in person or by writing to make this a legal annual business meeting. We received more than 8,200 votes in our board election by mail and online, well over the required voting membership representation. The quorum membership has been met. I therefore declare this a legal meeting. Before we get underway, I'd like to take just a moment and introduce your Wright-Patt Credit Union Board of Directors and Executive Leadership Team. First, our Board of Directors. Nicholas Ensley, Director. Rachel Goodspeed, Director. Leah C. Hanseman, Director. Joseph L. Linsenmeyer, Director. Joseph H. Mucci, Chairman. Adam M. Sheets, Vice Chairman. Dr. Charles H. Showell, Jr., Secretary. Bonnie Smith, Treasurer. Dr. Robert J. Sweeney, Assistant Treasurer. And now, our Wright-Patt Credit Union President and Chiefs. Tim Mislansky, President and Chief Executive Officer. Eric Bugger, Chief Lending Officer. Molly Lampe, Chief Legal Officer and General Counsel. Jen Ogden, Chief Risk Officer. Amy Riley, Chief Administrative Officer. Roseanne Schutzman, Chief Operating Officer. Daniel Smith, Chief Financial Officer. And representing our auditing firm, Forvis LLP, Thomas Patrick is also on hand tonight. We are also providing our 2022 meeting minutes digitally. You can find links to these documents as well as this year's full report through our website at wpcu.coop/annual-meeting. Let the record show that the minutes of the 2022 annual business meeting, as included in the annual business meeting notice, were approved by ballot. And once again, thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Joe. Perhaps it's just this historic location, but I can't help but think back to the beginning of our credit union and those government workers coming together to help each other through tough times. 90 years ago, the country was in the midst of a depression, and people were truly struggling. Born out of that, this group of co-workers came together, united in purpose to make a difference for one another. Times were hard then, and 2022 was a challenging year for many. That's why we're here, to help one another. To me, that's the true power of Wright-Patt Credit Union. People helping people. At the end of the day, it's not about the loans written, the accounts opened, or the credit cards issued. It's about the number of people we've been able to make a difference for. It's about making sure your credit union remains affordable as we continue to face the pressures of increased prices and rates due to inflation. With that said, because of the number of Ohioans we were able to help last year, your credit union remains financially healthy and growing. In 2022, Wright-Patt Credit Union grew to nearly 476,000 members strong, and our total assets increased to almost $7.8 billion. And during a rising rate environment, we've been able to be extremely competitive with our savings rates. More than 85,000 members took advantage of increased rates offered by our share products last year. We also helped over 82,000 members with their borrowing needs. Many took advantage of competitive lending products, allowing them to buy an affordable new home, finance reliable transportation, get a new business off the ground, pay for their college education, or simply weather one of life's unexpected surprises by using their credit union. Between saving better and borrowing smarter in tough times, that's almost 170,000 members who we've been able to help along their journey toward greater financial flexibility and freedom. Members like Jessica and her family, who you'll meet later in this meeting, they were able to realize the dream of home ownership for the very first time. Or Randy from Hamilton, Ohio. With a little guidance from his credit union, he was able to rebuild his credit, improve his financial health, and start his own business. At Wright-Patt Credit Union, our goal, today and every day, is to move members towards greater financial flexibility and freedom, so they can live the life they want to live. To bring this point home, I'd like to introduce you to a young couple who represent what financial flexibility and freedom is all about. Christopher has been a credit union member since his student days at Wright State. Catherine, his wife, has also been a longtime member. Here's their story.
I've never had that type of relationship with a credit union other than Wright-Patt Credit Union. They are always asking about how my family's doing, how I'm doing. So it really makes it feel like a family. But then they've really grown me in terms of my financial literacy. Like I remember one day I went into the branch and they were teaching me about money market accounts and how it has a better interest rate. And then I had no one ever tell me that. And so from that knowledge, I've been able to purchase a money market account for my kid and for the next kids that we have and for our family. So just having that knowledge of building generational wealth because of what Wright-Patt taught me.
When we bought our first home, we chose Wright-Patt Credit Union as our lender to get our mortgage loan.
We love the city of Dayton. We wanted to stay in Dayton, so Wright-Patt made it so easy for us to find just the right interest rate and to buy at the right time. They also helped us when we wanted to remodel our house in terms of refinancing as well.
I guess I've been fortunate to have Wright-Patt be able to meet all my financial needs regardless of the stage of life I was in. from my first checking account to getting that first auto loan to getting the mortgage for our house. Because we know the representatives that we bank with at Wright-Patt, it make it easy to ask questions so you don't feel like you're asking a silly question. And then they make every process really easy.
So Wright-Patt helped me through life when I needed to purchase a car, and then when I needed to purchase my house, and then in having children and creating accounts for them, and then now my business as I've grown as a person. So Wright-Patt has really been there for me from the beginning, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Thank you, Christopher and Catherine, for sharing your story. And much happiness to you and your growing family as you continue your journey towards greater financial flexibility and freedom. Another way we helped members keep more of their hard-earned money in their pockets last year was through a reduction in our non-sufficient fund fee from $19 to just $9 every time an unfortunate overdraft occurs. We also eliminated our 60-cent foreign ATM transaction fee. We estimate this change saved our members as much as $4 million in fees in 2022. We understand times are challenging and want to do as much as possible to provide relief to members when they're carrying a low balance in their checking account. Before we go to Daniel and Eric for their reports, I want to mention one more way we're able to give back to our members in 2022, our special patronage dividend. As you know, banks pay out dividends to their stockholders. As a credit union, we pay out our excess earnings to you, our members, in the form of a special patronage dividend. And this year, we were able to pay out our largest patronage dividend ever, $11 million. Special patronage dividends are not guaranteed every year, and it is a significant indicator of the financial health and strength of your credit union. When the credit union has a good year, we pass some of those extra earnings back to you, our members. It's a little extra money in your pocket to put towards what matters most to you. Now here are Daniel and Eric with their reports.
Good evening, everyone. As we close our 90th year serving our members, I am pleased to report that our institution continues to be financially strong and well positioned for the future. Wright-Patt Credit Union finished 2022 with total assets of almost $7.8 billion, up 9% over last year, and an increase of 76% over the past 5 years. Coupled with the addition of more than 26,500 additional members in 2022, and almost 95,500 additional members since 2018, the credit union continues to be uniquely positioned to help even more people throughout Southwest and Central Ohio. In addition to increasing assets, members also increased deposits and shares held at the credit union to more than $6.4 billion, an increase of almost 7% in 2022. We reward shares and deposit accounts with competitive and generous dividend payments, which grew to $48 million in 2022, an increase of $21 million, or 76% from the prior year. As a cooperative, your shares and deposits provide the primary fuel and ability for the credit union to expand lending across the membership. Thank you, members, for contributing your savings to help drive our mission to help people through life. Finally, I am also happy to report that Wright-Patt Credit Union remains well capitalized, with a net worth of 10.83%, up from 10.69% in 2021, and well above the required 7% to be considered well capitalized under credit union regulatory standards. As a primary measure of its financial strength, being well capitalized means Wright-Patt Credit Union is financially sound and can continue to deliver great value and returns for our members now and into the future. Now, here's Chief Lending Officer Eric Bugger, who will offer his report on loan growth in 2022.
Thank you, Daniel. While 2022 was a difficult year for many, Wright-Patt Credit Union's strong financial disposition allowed us to continue to help our members with loans to improve their lives and for the things they need. In 2022, total loans increased to more than $5.6 billion, an increase of over $780 million. While home loan production tapered off last year due to an uncertain economy and mortgage market, we were still able to help more than 700 first-time homebuyers achieve home ownership. Overall, we've helped more than 6,500 members across Southwest and Central Ohio improve their lives in some way with a first or second mortgage. This includes refinancing to make loans more affordable or to consolidate debt so they can weather the rising cost we're all dealing with. During these challenging economic times, we remain committed to helping our members achieve their goals through competitive rates and innovative lending products. We are constantly evaluating our rates, products, and processes. We're doing what we can to better meet members' needs no matter what their financial situation. Before I go, I'd like to share the story of Jessica and her family from Miamisburg, one of those members that we were able to help with a new home loan last year.
I am a single mom of 5 children, just living in an apartment. It was always too small, especially with 5 kids, no one having space. And I knew it was always going to be a goal in my near future, just because I never had a home. I wanted my kids to experience having a home. My realtor, she said, "Oh, do you bank with Wright-Patt?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I have somebody that's great. He's gonna help you. His name's Tom. Here's the phone number." Tom helped me through everything. He basically went over step by step what it was to buy a home. He went over all the math and just helped me out. Tom told me about the Bright Start program. He said it was a great program, that he was almost 100% positive that I would be approved. And it was great because he called me, he was like, "Well, you were approved." I'm like, "Oh, great." It was $2,500 and we used it towards my closing cost. My oldest has her own room, like her own personal space. My 12-year-old, soon to be 13-year-old, she also has her own space. For her to just have her own quiet time, she loves it. And then I have my 10-year-old. She loves having her own space, of course. And then my 2 younger ones, they just love running up the stairs and, coming in the kitchen, distracting mom while she's cooking dinner. Hey. Oh, and they love the backyard. Love the backyard. I knew at the end of the day, every day that we worked through the process of the home and talking to Tom and Lauren all the time, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we should just give up. They're like, no, you got it. We're gonna do this. I'm like, yes, I love you guys. Tom, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do. I love the fact that you work at Wright-Patt Credit Union and I could get a hold of you anytime I need. I appreciate everything and thank you.
Thank you, Eric. What a great story. It's worth noting that Jessica and her family were also one of the first recipients of the WPCU Sunshine Community Fund's Bright Start Down Payment Assistance Program, which is the perfect segue into the community impact portion of our meeting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy Sarzi-Fors, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development and the Executive Director of the WPCU Sunshine Community Fund, the giving arm of Wright-Patt Credit Union. I'd like to share just some of the differences your credit union made last year in the communities and neighborhoods in which we live, play, work, and learn. One way we make an impact is through the dozens of workshops and presentations that we facilitate online and throughout our area schools, churches, senior centers, and other community organizations. It allows us to further the cause of financial learning and financial well-being across Southwest and Central Ohio. In 2022, almost 1,200 members increased their financial knowledge by attending financial workshops or events. Nearly 50,000 accessed online digital financial tools, online calculators, forms, and guidance on how to help them with their financial goals. Taking it a step further and putting education into action, Through our partnership with GreenPath, members were able to pay down over $1.6 million in debt, putting more money into their pockets. Individual Wright-Patt Credit Union partner employees have spent more than 2,500 volunteer hours helping worthwhile nonprofit organizations in our community. We also give back through the WPCU Sunshine Community Fund. As a public charity, the Sunshine Community Fund works closely with nonprofits that help improve, strengthen, and safeguard the financial security of vulnerable populations within our community. In 2022, we provided $284,000 of support to 23 nonprofits, including Kranza Classrooms, Habitat for Humanity, Kettering Health Foundation, Feed the Kids Columbus, and YWCA Columbus. Since 2009, Wright-Patt Credit Union has raised over $2.3 million in support of the organizations, projects, and programs that align with our commitment to help people of all ages and backgrounds improve their financial outlook and start down the path to financial flexibility and freedom. Last year, the Sunshine Community Fund also launched the Bright Start Down Payment Assistance Program, offering down payment support through a matching grant up to $2,500. It helped first-time homebuyers like Jessica and her family achieve the dream of home ownership. During 2022, we awarded 21 matching grants through Bright Start. Money Magnifier is another Sunshine Community Fund signature program developed in 2022 and is poised to make a big difference for our communities, putting much-needed tools and resources in the hands of educators. Money Magnifier offers an engaging age-based curriculum for all students K through 12, all developed following the Ohio Department of Education's guidelines and using Wright-Patt Credit Union's expertise and internal resources. It was piloted at select schools and libraries during the second half of 2022 and is scheduled to roll out more broadly fall of 23 when it is expected to reach more than 4,000 students.
Thank you, Tracy. It's wonderful to hear about the difference we're making in our communities. Do you know the common denominator in all of this? The differences that we are able to make for our members and within our community? It's our people. Amy Riley, our Chief Administrative Officer, is going to talk a little bit about our partner employees who go the extra mile every single day in everything they do.
Thank you, Tim. Almost every day, we hear online or through social media or in our member centers across the region what a difference or amazing experience one of our partner employees has made for a member. They took the time, they cared, they did the extra work, and most importantly, they listened. I'm talking about partners like Stacy from our Graceland Member Center, who worked well past closing hours to help a member reestablish her account. When she found out the member had come all the way that afternoon from Cleveland by a Greyhound bus, she did everything in her power to help her get back home that night, going so far as to offer to drive her home. The member would not have it, but she was extremely grateful for Stacy's kindness and concern. Or partners like Heidi at our Cross Point Member Center, who was so moved by the situation of a member in extreme financial difficulty that she took it upon herself to research and provide the member with materials about area food banks and other free resources that could help get the member through a very difficult time. Because of Heidi's compassionate work, we are now developing a resource guide that includes local food banks and other resources that can be shared with members most in need. Those are just a few. We hear stories like these every day about the ways, big and small, our partners are making a difference. I want to close by reading an email we recently received from one of our members who was dealing with the recent loss of her husband. On January 27th, I visited the Cornerstone branch of Wright-Patt Credit Union. I attempted to have a check issued. After a short delay, I was informed the credit union had been notified of my husband's death, and the account would need to be switched to an individual account. I affirmed, and the representative went to consult a supervisor. During her absence, I teared up at the thought of removing my husband from another aspect of our life. Hearing frustration in my voice, a young man came around the corner and assured me, "Don't worry, I will walk you through this." His name was Brian. He walked me through sending the death certificate to all the correct places. He stood beside me and helped me through all the questions I had to answer to change the account. He made sure I had the check I needed and gave me a much-needed hug before I left. Brian was exactly what I needed at that time and place. He went far beyond anything I expected in that situation and was a wonderful, compassionate face for the credit union. Thank you, Brian, for being that compassionate face of Wright-Patt Credit Union and truly living our mission of helping people through life. And thank you to all of our partner employees who go that extra mile for our members each and every day. Before I go, board member Bonnie Smith has another member story that she would like to share, another great example of our partners making a difference.
Hello, everyone. It's always exciting to me when I hear about a young person who really wants to understand what he or she can do to improve their financial situation. Sienna from our Inglewood Member Center is one such example. We were able to help her really understand the importance of credit, its good management, and so much more. She's taken that guidance to heart and has become a real cheerleader for financial literacy and Wright-Patt Credit Union. Here's Sienna's story.
My first interaction was getting a credit card. I was behind on a bill and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm gonna do, how am I gonna pay it? A friend was like, oh, if you go to Wright-Patt, they'll give you a credit card. It helped me out tremendously that day. It became very useful. It was something I could use for backup. And it was just such an excitement to know that long as I stayed in good standing, that I was able to get other things in life that I wished for or wanted. Wright-Patt, they have given me a lot of guidance. They've had a lot of helpful members. They were willing to listen to me and explain to me more in detail what I didn't know.
In schools, they don't really teach financial wellness. They don't really teach you much about credit scores. So when I get a member in my office, I usually coach them in my way of saying, look into credit products, but make sure you know exactly what you're getting into and why it's important to stick with certain credit products for life. Because the longer you have a credit line, the better your credit score will be, and you have the credit union that's going to be there to guide you.
I would recommend Wright-Patt even if you are not financially ready, because they also give you chances. They also work with you. As long as you communicate with them and inform them, they're willing to work with you and try to help you out the best they can.
Thank you, Bonnie. And thank you, Sienna and Cheyenne. As Amy stated earlier, our people truly make the difference. Without their expertise and deep passion for helping others, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. I'm proud of the way they continue to go above and beyond for our members. I'm also grateful for such an active, engaged membership, like Sienna, that continues to put their confidence in us. We will do our best to continue to earn it. Before we conclude this evening's business and move on to the results of our board election, I'd like to look forward a little into 2023. First, I'm excited to announce our two newest member centers, the Canal Winchester Member Center, which opened last month, and the Grove City Member Center, which we will open in May. Plans are also underway for a new member center in Vandalia, which should open later this year. The opening of these new member centers will allow us to better serve our growing membership throughout Southwest and Central Ohio. I'm also excited to introduce CoverPoint Insurance Solutions as our newest credit union service organization, or CUSO. We decided to start an insurance CUSO to allow us to work closely with our members as part of the planning pillar in their financial flexibility and freedom journey, ultimately providing them increased peace of mind. Members using mobile banking can look forward to additional enhancements to our highly rated app that will offer them more functionality and convenience than ever before. And plans are also underway to update our deposit products to provide members with more ways to save and get more back from their hard-earned money. Finally, in an effort to better understand the specific needs of our members, we're excited to apply the learnings from considerable financial well-being efforts we began in 2022. Our wide-ranging member research and development work in partnership with Gallup will help us better capture the voice of you, our members, to gain a deeper understanding of what you are going through and learn how we can better help you throughout your financial journey, no matter what your financial situation or what your stage in life. The insight and intelligence from these initiatives will help us better develop the specific programs, products, and financial learning initiatives to help members precisely how, where, and when they need it most. I'm excited about this work and how it will enable us to help more members in more ways across the communities we serve. Our goal today and every day is to help our members gain the financial flexibility and freedom they need to live the life they want to live. As CEO of the credit union, my main job is to push us towards our vision of being the best organization our members have ever dealt with and the best place our partners have ever worked. And as we strive towards that, we are going to measure our success based on the impact we make on people. I'm proud of the impact we made in 2022 and look forward to an even bigger impact in the future. Thank you again for being here tonight and the trust you've placed in your credit union. Before we close our meeting with the 2023 Board of Director election results, Rachel Goodspeed, one of our newest credit union board members, has one more member story she would like to share. Rachel?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rachel Goodspeed. As a small business owner myself, our next member's story really struck a chord with me. Randy had worked for someone else for years, and additionally had been working through some financial challenges of his own. He knew it was time for a change, and he reached out to Wright-Patt Credit Union partner Matt Kessler at our Green Hills Member Center for help. It changed the trajectory of his and his family's life.
When I first came to Wright-Patt, it wasn't the picture perfect. I was working for somebody else, really poor credit score, just we'll just say life happened and things got out of control. Matt was my first contact with Wright-Patt, and it's been great. They've taken really good care of me. We've definitely turned things around. When I decided to start my business, my first call was to Matt, just to let him know, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is what I'm gonna need. You can definitely feel like he's got my back. You know, he's thinking of things to help me grow. He knows where I wanna be. And so far, he saw what I put into this company. And I think, you know, he seems like the type that would do that for everybody. Having that support is priceless.
The beauty of the relationship was really Randy's honesty of where he was at, what he needed help with. And that transparency is a big deal from the beginning. And we can get a better portrait of the situation to provide guidance and set them on the right path. There's a significant difference with Wright-Patt Credit Union in our focus to serve the member and to really serve them through their life and help them through their life to be more successful.
I never knew there was a difference, and I'm a lot older and, you know, a little bit wiser than I used to be. I wish I would have found Wright-Patt when I was in my 20s, because I think I'd be in a whole different path right now. And ever since then, I mean, I couldn't imagine banking with anywhere else.
Thank you, Rachel, and Randy and Matt for sharing that story. As we bring the annual business meeting to a close, we are pleased to announce that the following individuals were elected by the membership by mail and electronic ballots to serve 3-year terms on the Board of Directors. Rachel Goodspeed, Bonnie Smith, Robert J. Sweeney. Congratulations to them. I'm confident that they will continue to serve with passion and commitment to our credit union's mission of helping our members through life. With the official business of the annual business meeting concluded, this meeting is adjourned. Remember, however, that Tim will be on hand live to answer your questions immediately upon conclusion of this video. Much thanks to everyone involved in making our annual election and annual business meeting a success. We truly appreciate the time and effort that goes into it. And please stay on the meeting link with Tim live for a brief question and answer session.
Thank you to Mr. Mucci and the rest of the Board of Directors for that great video presentation. As promised, I am here live with Wright-Patt Credit Union President and CEO Tim Mislansky. Tim, thank you for being with me.
Thanks for being here too, Holly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm sure it comes as no surprise to you when I tell you that my favorite part of every annual meeting Wright-Patt Credit Union has is it's the member stories. It has to be incredibly fulfilling for you to hear those stories every year.
Oh, it is, and I've seen the videos several times, and I get choked up when I watch it. Our people are simply amazing. They do amazing things for members, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that they do every day on behalf of this organization, on behalf of the Board of Directors, and on behalf of the members. They're really what makes Wright-Patt Credit Union different and unique. And the great thing for us is that the only place you can get that, the only place you can get those employees is here at Wright-Patt Credit Union. Right here at Wright-Patt Credit Union. And it's amazing. You're finishing up your 90th year, and you were able to tie it back to the history there that Wright-Patt Credit Union started with the same mission. You're serving members and you're making their lives better. So to be able to tie it back to that history is just pretty incredible. And we want to say thank you to the Huffman Prairie Interpretive Center for allowing us to use their facility for that video presentation. So we do have quite a few questions that came in while we were in the video and leading up to tonight's meeting. So we'll get to those questions. The first question, Tim, we had a lot of them that came in with the same theme. We did.
So this one we saw quite a few times, which is as to be expected. The question is, how is Wright-Patt Credit Union financially after bank closures? Is member money safe?
Yeah, well, the short answer, yes, member money is safe here. And I certainly understand, and our board understands, and the entire executive team understands that, you know, the news of those two banking failures was pretty shocking. That's not something that regularly happens in this country. And so when it does, it's kind of a shock to the system. I can tell you personally, I had more friends and family members place phone calls to me, and even who knew what I did but never had talked to me about money stuff before, and called and said, explain how insurance on my deposits work to me, because I'm concerned. So, you know, here at Wright-Patt Credit Union, Daniel Smith, our CFO, talked in the video about our financial strength, our capital position, our profitability. So from a financial aspect, the credit union is incredibly strong. I think the other thing that's important for members to know and members to understand that's different about Wright-Patt Credit Union is that we're owned entirely by the members. Every dollar that is here on deposit is member dollars. We are funded by the members. We loan the money to members. It's a cooperative. Members give us money to deposit, and then we turn around and we lend it back to members. And that's a little bit different than some of the other banking models that are out there. And I think that creates a so-called safety net for members, because we're only dealing with members from that perspective. The other thing is that it's important that members know that we are regulated by the federal government, because we have share insurance through the National Credit Union Administration, and we are regulated by the Ohio Department of Commerce through the Ohio Division of Financial Institutions. They come in, they examine us every year, they do a thorough review. We also have outside auditors that come in, and so we have a lot of eyes and ears, so to speak, looking and listening to what we're doing and keeping an eye on things on behalf of the members. And certainly the Board of Directors provides some of that oversight too as well. So members should feel confident that the management team of this credit union is running it in a sound manner, in an efficient manner, in a conservative manner, because we realize that all the money that's here belongs to the members.
Right. I appreciate that answer. Thank you. Similarly, the second question that we saw quite a bit really relates to what's going on across the country and around the world. The second question I have for you is, what can members expect from interest rates in 2023?
Well, I wish I could give a 100% accurate answer, but interest rates are driven by the market and driven by the Federal Reserve and how different institution in the market responds to that. So I can't give a clear indication of what's going to happen. There has been discussion and talk that it's likely that the Federal Reserve Board will increase rates again in potentially May. Here's what I can tell members, is that when we set interest rates, our goal is to provide members with the highest deposit rates we possibly can, while also providing borrowers with the lowest possible rates we can to keep their monthly payments low and keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket. And then what we do with that money in the middle, so to speak, between what we earn and what we pay out, that's how we run the credit union. That's how we pay for the buildings, that's how we pay for the salaries, that's how we pay for the technology. And so we need to make a margin there. But I think members, if they look at what we've done over the past, especially 6 to 8 months, they've seen us be aggressive in raising our deposit rates to allow them to earn more on their money, and also try to hold the line as much as we can on lending rates so that we can keep their payments low.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. The next question I have is, how does Wright-Patt Credit Union help members with poor credit or with bankruptcies?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's important to start with this premise that I and all of the management team and the board of directors here at the credit union has. We recognize that sometimes bad things happen to good people. I personally don't believe that we have members that borrow money from us that don't have the intention to pay us back. They want to pay us back. But sometimes life happens. Medical, job loss, things like that happen, and it causes people to be late or miss payments or even file bankruptcy. So Wright-Patt works really hard to provide solutions to those members, but it's difficult for me to say, here's the laundry list of them, because every situation is unique to that individual member. So if you're watching this video, whether it's live tonight or you're watching it later on and you're having some financial distress, what I encourage you to do is reach out to the credit union, set an appointment, and come in and sit down with a financial coach. They're experts in helping members. They'll listen to your situation, and they'll try to find a scenario that can help you and help you overcome some of the challenges, because at the end of the day, our mission statement remains that we help members through life.
Right. We heard that quite a bit tonight, and it's about listening to the needs of the members. Right. The next question has to do with financial learning. What opportunities are available for financial learning through Wright-Patt Credit Union?
Well, short answer again, there's lots of them. So let me start with this, is that Wright-Patt Credit Union, I think credit unions in general have a history, because again of their cooperative nature, of really focusing on helping people better understand how to manage their money. As viewers saw in the video, they don't teach a lot in schools about how to balance a checkbook or your credit score, or how to responsibly borrow from with a credit card, or how to become a homeowner. This year alone, just through the first 3 months, we've already done 40 different educational opportunities for members. We have dozens more planned through the end of the year. Members can certainly visit our website and find information and register. There's also ample educational information on the credit union's website around a whole range of financial topics. And again, if you need some one-on-one help, make an appointment with a financial coach, because we have a tagline here that we talk about that starts with save a lot, borrow smarter, and learn a lot. And so that's really, again, what the credit union is all about. So lots of opportunities for people to increase their financial knowledge and financial skills as they work towards financial freedom and flexibility.
That's great. And, as a member, I've taken advantage of some of those courses, so I can't recommend them enough. They really are fantastic to increase your financial literacy. Our next question, Tim, is where does WPCU stand on ESG?
Sure. That's a great question, and one we get occasionally asked by members. So if you're not familiar as a member or somebody watching this what ESG is, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. And it's been around, those concepts have been around for a long time, but it seems to be gaining more momentum in the news and so forth. And some of the social things that are, I know I have an upcoming question about some of the things we're doing there, and you saw it with the Sunshine Community Fund. From a governance perspective, we've got our board of directors. So I'm going to focus my answer more on the E side. Okay. And many of the principles in the E, or the environmental side, align really closely to what we believe in here at the credit union. They're kind of built into our DNA. But I think it's important to make this point. Again, we're a financial cooperative owned by the members, and we need to strike a good balance between doing what's right for the environment and doing what's right for the members, because we're using the members' money. As I said earlier, every dollar we spend belongs to the members. So as we look at those things, we work hard to try to be good stewards of our members' money and make sure that any effort we're doing, whether it's related to the environment or any other aspect, delivers value to the membership as a whole. So it's, it's a balancing equation that we work hard at.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, what is the credit union doing in regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI?
Sure. So again, the credit union has a big focus on this, and I think we've increased our focus on it over the last few years. But Wright-Patt Credit Union is always in my mind, and I'm a 22-year employee, so I've seen this for a long period of time. We've always tried to do the right thing for the right reasons. And in my mind, it's important for us to be diverse and inclusive and create equity opportunities for people because it's the right thing to do. I think when an organization has diverse ideas, when they welcome people in terms of expressing their opinions and their thoughts, it only makes the organization stronger because you get different ideas. If we all look at things in the exact same way, we're going to do things the exact same way. And so I encourage, and I know the organization and the leaders and the managers, we encourage ourselves to be active listeners, to welcome different viewpoints, to look at things from different perspectives. And again, that really comes back to some of these DEI core principles. Specifically, we've got this group we call the Ideas Collaborative, which provides internal education. They advise on some matters related to DEI, and they're made up of employees through all ranks of the organization. And they meet regularly, and they talk about how could we make this an even better place to work. Because again, that's one of our primary parts of our vision, is that we want Wright-Patt Credit Union to be the best place our people have ever worked. We also do ongoing training on DEI-related topics. We conduct some voluntary assessments or participate in some voluntary assessments to measure us against different organizations, including one done by the National Credit Union Administration and the National Diversity Council. We also work with have done a lot of work recently in our recruiting area. As we look at our workforce, how can we expand the net, so to speak, and bring a larger group and a more diverse group of people into the organization to serve our very diverse membership. We serve almost 500,000 people, with the vast majority of them living in Southwest Ohio. And while we share the fact we're Ohioans, we're a very diverse group. And so I want the team here to represent the members we serve. So that's a big reason why DEI is such an important aspect of Wright-Patt Credit Union.
It sounds to me that it's an ongoing effort.
It is, it certainly is. And there's really no, I don't know that there's actually like a finish line that you cross over with it. I think it's something that you're continuously on the journey about and you're continually learning about.
Absolutely. Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about governance. The next question that came in to us was about Wright-Patt Credit Union's board of directors. We saw some of the members of the board of directors in the video presentation earlier. So the question is, how does a member get elected to the board of directors?
So I always like, I get that question occasionally, and I always like to start answering with a pre-question or a pre-fact, so to speak. I think it's important for members to understand what their board of directors does for them. So first of all, the board of directors is elected from the membership, another unique characteristic of a not-for-profit financial cooperative like Wright-Patt Credit Union. So everyone that you saw as a member on the video who's a board is a member just like you. They use the financial services. But our board's really responsible for 4 key items. The first one is that they collaboratively set the strategy and the objectives of the credit union, working with the management team. They set policies to help us fulfill our vision and our mission. And then they provide a level of oversight, as I talked about earlier. And on a very personal nature, probably the most important thing to me, half joking, is that they hire the CEO.
Right.
And so I was fortunate enough just about a year and a half ago that they offered me the position when our longtime CEO retired. And so I'm quite honored by the fact and blessed by the fact that the board made that decision. But those are really the 4 main roles of the board. And sometimes I will say members may think that the board gets involved in kind of the nitty-gritty of the operation. organizations. And that's not what the board does. The board has somewhat of a mentality of, and we talk about it from a standpoint of they have their noses in the organization, so they're kind of looking down and seeing what's going on and opining and providing guidance on it. But their fingers aren't in the day-to-day things, so to speak. So we talk about noses in, fingers out with the board. So with all that being kind of the pre-answer to your question about how does someone end up on the board, board members are elected by the membership. We just went through that process and learned who our new board members are. But what our board has done is that they've created this, this advisory council of members. And the intent of the advisory council, it has a few intents, but in my mind, the most important one is that it prepares people to be potential future board members. It also brings some different ideas and different thoughts into the boardroom, similar to some of the DEI comments I made earlier. And it's important because our credit union is a growing credit union. Members saw on one of the slides Daniel had, the CFO, about how quickly this place has grown over the past few years. It's growing in size and complexity. And so the skill sets and the backgrounds and the knowledge that would be helpful to our board is changing over time. So our board is currently in the process of getting ready to reach out and start gathering interested individuals who might have an interest on being on the advisory council. They're specifically looking for skill sets in information technology, information security. We're all concerned about cybersecurity. That's something in the news regularly. They're also concerned, or not concerned, but they are interested in someone with an audit background or audit skills, and risk management as well. All things that become more important as this organization continues to grow and become more complex. So if members are interested in how to run for the board or how to get involved at a deeper level with the organization, they can just reach out and let somebody in a member center know or let somebody on the phone know, and they'll get them to either myself or our outstanding executive assistant, and we'll get them some information.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about how the board of directors helps kind of look to the future strategically for the credit union. So that leads us to our next question.
Great.
The next question that came in is, what are future plans for expansion?
Yeah, so I think first of all, as I said, we're really excited about the fact that we're getting close to serving 500,000 members. And we don't measure success here like some other organizations do. We don't measure success by how many dollars we have on deposit or how many dollars we loan out. We measure success based on the people that we impact. And so when we look at how we're going to expand, one of the biggest filters for that is how do we expand the impact that we can make on people? How do we impact more people across this state? So our board management has kind of coalesced around this idea that we're going to be an Ohio-centric organization. Don't see us necessarily crossing over state lines. We can certainly serve a member who lives in a different state, who maybe moved or so forth, but it's an Ohio-based organization. We were born and raised here in Dayton, Ohio, as I like to say. So there's two main aspects to expansion plans. One is that we've been in the Columbus area for going on 10 years at this point in time, and we need to get that market to maturity. And what we've defined maturity as is we believe we need around 16 member centers in that market.
Okay.
So members will see us opening 2 to 3 member centers each year over the next 5 years in that market so that we can provide convenience to members. We can provide that face-to-face contact for members who want to come in and sit down and talk with us. And really be able to cover the market in Columbus, much like we do here in Dayton. But at the same time, we recognize that here in Dayton, if you were to put a map up and put pins on of where our member centers are, you would see some gaps. The video, again, talks about Vandalia. We're going to go to the Vandalia market later this year. We have some other ones that we're working through and negotiating on. But we intend to open approximately 4 member centers over the next 4 to 5 years in Dayton to better serve those members who live in this market and provide more convenience for them. So the member center side is certainly one side. There's other pieces to it around the digital side that we'll continue making advancements in for those members who want to be able to interact with us with their mobile phone or their laptop or their computer.
You have a lot of exciting things going on
we
right
do.
now, right?
We
At
do.
Credit Union.
Yeah.
So the next question came in, one of our live viewers, and this is looking to the future again. The question is, if enacted, will Wright-Patt Credit Union participate in digital currency?
Yes, so I think that's a big question. We spend some time talking about that with our board and where we're at. We've got people on staff who monitor the developments. From a personal standpoint, about a year and a half ago, I actually opened an account and bought some cryptocurrency as a way to educate myself. And what I learned from it is that it's an extremely volatile market. There were days where at one point in time in the day, I might be up 15, 20%. And by the end of the day, the balance was down 15 to 20%. And so I think crypto certainly has a place in the financial markets, but there's a lot of risk involved with it. And so from a very initial standpoint, one of the things we need to do at Wright-Patt Credit Union is we need to help educate our members, not tell them, Holly, you should buy crypto or you shouldn't buy crypto, but here's what crypto is, here's how it works, here's how you should think about it in terms of a risk profile. So that's kind of, again, a precursor to the answer to the question. But we're going to keep an eye on it. It could become more mainstream, and if it does, we'll evaluate it like we do with everything else. We'll evaluate the benefits that it would offer to members, maybe the downsides or the risk it would offer to members, and we'll reach what I call a member-centric decision about whether we're going to offer cryptocurrency to members.
Okay, thank you. Well, the next question is digital as well. It says, what digital enhancements does Wright-Patt Credit Union have planned for the membership?
Yeah, so we have a number of them planned. I'll hit on a couple ones. What we know today is that our mobile app that members access via their phone and our online application are used quite extensively. Hundreds of thousands of members use those and log in every single day to the amount of millions of logins in a month. So they're widely used. They do a lot of the basic things really, really well. We have some work to do on some of the more, I'll call them process-driven things. And we've allocated dollars and time and people to implement some of those things. So one of the ones I'm excited about, because I think it will help members manage something on their own time that today they have to call us or come see us to do. Okay. And that's to manage or perform maintenance on their certificates of deposit. If a member wants to renew their CD, they want to close the CD, they want to change, say, from a 1-year CD to a 2-year CD, all of those things today, they have to talk to a human being. They have to talk to a Wright-Patt Credit Union employee. And I love when members talk to employees, but I also know that sometimes members want to do it at 9 o'clock at night when we're not here necessarily. So we're going to create some great offerings and roll that out to members this year so they'll be able to have that self-service on their mobile app or on their desktop computer or laptop, just as if they were coming into the credit union to do it.
Okay.
A second thing, and this one is really important to me and the credit union as well, from that financial flexibility and freedom aspect that we talk so much about. And it's called, the product name right now, and it will probably change as we get closer to launch late in the year. It's called Goal Builder. We know that members save money for different things. We also know that members sometimes struggle to save money for things because sometimes the paycheck runs out before the pay period does, or the washer goes on the fritz, or you have unexpected and things of life happens. But what Goal Builder does is it allows members to set a financial goal, such as, I want to save $10,000 for a down payment on a home, or I want to set $2,000 aside to take the kids to Disneyland, or whatever they want to be their financial goal. And what they're able to do is set up recurring saving plans as well as make deposits, and Goal Builder will allow the member to track that online. They'll be able to see the progress they make and see them moving closer and closer to hitting that financial goal they have. And what we hope that will allow members to do is to provide that positive encouragement that allows them to get to their goals faster, so they can buy that house, so they can take those kids to Disneyland.
Any tool that makes savings easier is a great tool.
Yes, it is.
That's a great tool. And it makes it fun, too.
Yes.
It sounds like that would be a fun thing. Looking forward to that. Thanks, Tim.
So.
We have time for one last question, and I just wanted to wrap up by talking. We saw so many of your staff members, your team members, throughout the video presentation, and we talked about how special they are. I want to hear it from you, though. Yeah. What makes Wright-Patt Credit Union so special? What is the culture like here?
Yeah, so we get asked that question all the time by people who, as they get to know the credit union a little bit. They'll experience one person at Wright-Patt and they'll have an amazing experience, or they'll hear an executive like myself or one of our chiefs out in the community talk about the credit union. And they hear it, and there's maybe this little bit of doubt. Is it really that good? Is somebody just drinking the so-called Kool-Aid, so to speak?
Right.
And then the more they interact with people, they see it more and more. And it's almost as if, and this sounds corny, I know, but it's almost as if there's like this magic. And I talk about the magic here. There's a magic with the people at Wright-Patt Credit Union. And I think it comes from this aspect. Is that I talked earlier about how we don't measure success based on the dollar amount of loans. We measure success based on the people we impact. And when I talk to employees, which we call partner employees, what they get excited about and what they love to tell me stories about are the type of stories our members saw in the videos tonight, where they did something for a member. I ask our financial coaches when I meet with them, how many of you had a member cry in your office recently? And they know I'm asking the question about in a good way, not where the member's upset,
Right.
but because we did something for that member, or that member did something with our help that they didn't think was possible. And hands go up like crazy in the room. And that's what this place is about. And what we talk about here, and again, I think it stems throughout the organization, and it flows and it just builds on itself, is that yes, we're a financial institution, just like any other financial institution, but we're in the business of taking care of people. And when our employees wake up in the morning, what I hope they're excited about, and I know many of them are excited about, is that they get to do something that makes a difference in people's lives. They get to make an impact. And I tell them that when you're all done working here, that I hope you can sit back and even do it more often than that. And you realize that you made an impact on thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people over your career. And so it just, that moves people, that people feel a purpose that's here. And so that's one of the main things. The other thing that I think we do really well, and I'm really proud of, is that we're listeners. And everybody here is part of the team. And there are nearly 1,400 people who work for the combined organizations today. And they're all moving in the same direction. They're all trying to accomplish the same things. And we have a very collaborative, very fun environment here where they can feel safe coming to work. They feel they can be their authentic selves coming to work. That relates back to the DEI. And again, like I said earlier, they know when they're done working that they did something that mattered and was important to somebody.
That was a fantastic answer. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I think that's a great place to leave it.
Yeah.
Tim, thank you so much.
Well, thank
for
you.
answering member questions.
Thank you.
Again, I just want to mention that, as we said in the beginning here, if we didn't get to your question tonight, don't worry. The Wright-Patt Credit Union team will reach out to you offline after the meeting and follow up with you, and we'll make sure we get those questions answered. The other thing I want to mention is that you will be able to have access to this fully recorded meeting following when we wrap up this evening on Wright-Patt Credit Union's website. So share with your friends. If you want to go back and watch again, that's available as well. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Thank you for being a member. And not only that, thank you for being an actively engaged member, for logging in tonight and watching and getting information about what's going on with Wright-Patt Credit Union. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. Good night.